We meet again at last. The circle is now complete.
What's the world coming to?
Well, you got a problem with what I did, Anthony?
Oh, no. Hey, no.
Fucking rat anyways. Whole family's all rats. Would have grew up to be a rat.
Stupid bastard. I can't fucking believe it.
Gee, I'm real sorry your mom blew up, Ricky.
Now you're gonna dig the fucking thing. You're gonna dig the hole. You're gonna do it. I got no fucking line. You're gonna do it.
Fuck yes, I'll take the fucking hole. I don't give a fuck.
I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was pure and simple evil.
Jesus Christ. Mister, you okay in there?
Let's see, Disney costumes around here someplace.
Have you any idea what the cost of your actions is? What their effect might be? Or are you to give them hope? What do you give them? We give them happiness. And they give us authority. Groovy.
What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz and Harry Hill here for Cinephellas Podcast, episode 53. How you doing today, Harvey?
Uncle Logan, I've missed you. It's been a while, my friend. What's going on?
Not much. It's been a busy week. I've been posting a lot of videos, a lot of great stuff we're uploading. Yesterday we did the Fellas giveaway, so that was pretty cool. And last week on our podcast, I just posted that this week. We were talking about Disney Plus, the giveaway, a bunch of other movies that came out. But sadly, I have not been to the theater this week to see anything. So have you seen anything recently, Henry?
You know, at the theater, no, I haven't. I haven't even got a chance to see Ford versus Ferrari sport, but there's some movies that I have been able to catch up on as far as TV goes, and a couple series that I'm currently watching.
Dang! Catching up on some Disney Plus streaming service or other platforms?
Well, you know, I'm doing a little Disney Plus each day. I'm trying to throw on something new for Nolan to watch, you know, and me to, you know, I've been wanting to watch Willow. I haven't got around to it, but we've watched a lot of Pixar movies and, you know, of course, The Mandalorian. We've been binging that. 2 episodes so far. And, of course, the big reveal. The second episode was awesome. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. We haven't even seen Giancarlo Esposito or Gina Carano's characters yet. So they're going to be coming to the show, adding more depth to it, and we're going to find out more answers as we go on as to little baby Yoda or the Yoda-like creature. And then we'll find out, you know, about the Mandalorian more. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, the Yoda character, it's really interesting. So I'm like, well, if it takes place after Return of the Jedi, it's not obviously Yoda. It's the same species, or I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that character or what it all means. But so far in the show, it's fantastic. A little baby Yoda, it's cute. 50 years old.
They age a little differently, don't they?
I've been reading up on it, and then people are like trying to figure out what, like, the baby Yoda is exactly. If it's just like related to Yoda or I don't know. Nobody really knows. It's just kind of interesting. Been having a blast with it this far. The last episode 2, with Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. That was really awesome.
Yeah, it was an exciting episode, an adventurous episode, and we saw the what are those sand creatures called again? We saw them come back.
Jawas?
They were in the original. Yeah, exactly. We saw them, and then we saw some really cool action, like I mentioned. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes from here.
That was really great in this episode. I haven't seen them since A New Hope, 1977. I don't know if they're in other films. I don't remember them just from the first Star Wars movie.
That's what I really remember them from. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, they're like super hilarious. I love their little like robes and their glowy eyes, and they're like
yeah. Yeah, it was cool to see them, and they were like going fucking crazy for that big egg that he brought back.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
I don't know. They just like broke it open, and there's a bunch of yolk in there, and they just like started dipping their fingers in and eating it. I just think they're fucking simpletons, and whatever egg that he got, that must be like, you know, obviously super tasty to them, some kind of exotic food or something.
Yeah, they must have been real hungry too. Those boys better eat all the food they can.
I'm pretty sure those boys visited the intergalactic big rays. So one movie that I have seen within the past couple of weeks, I didn't see at the theater, I actually caught up with on Netflix, and that is Eddie Murphy's new film, Dolomite Is My Name. And, I didn't really know what to expect too much before going in. I kind of knew the story of Dolomite. He's, obviously in the rap game, he's a big figure in that. You have Snoop rapping about him. You got all the classics. Eazy-E right at the bottom. And plus, he did a little singing and rapping per se. Some consider him to be the godfather, kind of like the godfather of it, in one way or the other. But
really?
Basically, yeah. So it's a story
I didn't know anything about it.
I know. I didn't either. And honestly, I didn't have any expectations for it. I knew it was on Netflix. I knew Eddie Murphy, has been, trying to come back, and he's slowly making his way back into the into the comedy field. And he is, he's going to be in Coming to America 2. And now there's talk of Beverly Hills Cop 4. So, I was interested to see his first kind of appearance, for his comeback. So yeah, it was a really good film. I learned a lot about this guy. Basically, Rudy Ray Moore is the guy's name, and Eddie Murphy plays him, and he's a comedian, and he's also a musician, but basically he's, been doing it for so long, and he's going nowhere. Nobody really finds him too funny. His music isn't that great. He's down on his luck. He's in his 40s, and, he's tried a bunch of different schemes to kind of, make his mark in the world, but nothing's worked. So one day, he works at a record store, and basically, he comes into contact with this homeless guy, and this homeless guy has this style of talking where he tells these big, grandiose stories of things that happen, but he kind of raps it. He's, I didn't remember anything that he said, but just his style.
He
of
said
talking.
a hip hop hippie, hip hop, don't stop,
Exactly. No, but he has these big stories. So basically, Eddie Murphy as Rudy Ray Moore kind of takes on this persona, this homeless guy that, has this particular style of talking, and he basically creates his whole own acts based on this character who he calls Dolomite. And it's basically he's kind of like a pimp kind of persona like that. He wears a big top hat. He's got a wig on that he wears and really nice fancy clothing. And yep, at first he makes a comedy album as Dolomite, and it's really successful. He starts out independent, and then he's got labels knocking on his door trying to get him signed and everything, and he finds success doing it that way. And then it just ends up blowing up to where he's a fan of kung fu movies and movies in general, and he wants to make his own. At first he tries to get a legit, movie made, but then he figures out that, he just needs to make a movie independently. So that's what he does. He hires all these film students. I'm trying to think of the kid's name that's in it that plays he plays one of the film students that helps him make the movie. He played Nightcrawler in the last X-Men movies, real skinny kid.
Oh, the younger kid? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. He's got the hyphenated name. But anyways, yeah, he's in it, and you have Wesley Snipes, who plays an awesome role in this movie. He's it's really good. Everything's well done. It's directed by the guy who did Black Snake Moan, Hustle and Flow. So he's made these kind of films that, he's actually a white guy, but he's made these films that really resonated, especially with the African American audience and everything. But, it's a film that everybody can enjoy. I highly recommend it. It's funny. Eddie Murphy does some great acting. I haven't seen him this good for a while. Same thing with Wesley Snipes. They take it seriously. They're funny. And, it was cool to see how this character of Dolomite and how they put this film together. It's really funny. They basically, had to pay for everything on their own. Rudy Ray Moore was in charge of funding the whole thing. Well, it shows them they don't have any power at the place that they get. So they run a cord out the window to this other building and end up hooking it up that way to get the lights on in the place. And they use a lot of techniques that independent filmmakers do, to this day to get their films made. So it was really cool to see that. It's kind of how everything came together. And then to see, this character, finally make it and make his mark. And he did it without anybody's help, really. He started from the ground up and just like built himself up, and yeah, so it's really cool. I highly recommend Dolomite Is My Name. Catch it on Netflix if you can. 4 out of 5. My Name is Dolomite Hairpieces.
That's pretty solid. Just from your, thoughts on the movie,
Yeah.
I will definitely check that out. I saw one of my buddies reviewed it, but I didn't read it. But heard some good things about it. I'll definitely check it out. So sounds like a solid flick all around. And seeing Eddie Murphy again, that's fucking amazing. I love that guy.
I know. He's
Axel
still funny.
Foley.
Yeah, Axel Foley. He's still funny. He's a little bit older and wiser now, so that plays into the role. And just seeing Wesley Snipes and him work together was really cool. And there's a lot of great cameos. Yeah, it was great. And there's a lot of great cameos. I mentioned some rap artists earlier. Snoop Dogg has a little cameo in it. He's the DJ.
Cool.
And then you'll see some other people that you know throughout the film. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. Highly recommended. I can't wait for Coming to America. I can't wait for him to shoot some more comedy. Let's see if he can. I mean, it's going to be hard for him if he's going to have to work on it for sure, because comedy isn't easy, and he hasn't done it for how long now? So
yeah,
it'd be
that's
interesting.
something you can just jump back into. You got to kind of prep for that and get some good jokes.
I think so too. He was a legend. He was a legend back when he started in the 80s. He's going to have to he's going to have to try to be relevant, all these years later in this kind of era. He's going to have to, because we already have Chappelle. He's carved out his own style of comedy, and he talks about hot button issues. So it'll be interesting to see like what Eddie Murphy has to say about things and what his brand of comedy.
Yeah, it's also a different world in 2019 than it was back in the 80s. So there's a lot of people and politics and all that shit. But yeah,
exactly.
Break through again and be a household name like he used to be. No doubt about that. I'm really stoked for Beverly Hills Cop 4 because I love the original movies. And Coming to America too with Arsenio Hall. It's going to be interesting.
I know. I need to rewatch that movie. Actually, the director of Coming to America 2 is Craig Brewer, the same guy that directed Dolomite Is My Name, like I was mentioning.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. So he's already worked with Eddie Murphy. So yeah, I can't wait till that. That was a classic. I remember watching it back in the 80s. I remember them going into like McDonald's, was it?
McDowell's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Didn't Arsenio work there on the movie?
Yeah, they both worked there.
Yeah.
They both worked there.
Okay.
Their manager. Eddie Murphy got together with his daughter. And they find out that he's a prince, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But he was trying to play it off like he's just a normal person, but he's a prince. And then you get James Earl Jones coming in from wherever they're from, Africa, and his wife.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Cool setup. Cool movie. Really good. Really funny. Eddie Murphy plays like 8 characters in that movie. All the guys.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's like the OG of him doing like Nutty Professor in multiple roles, which he just like nails every time.
It was so funny.
So cool.
I always watch that clip from the barbershop on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. He's like, was it Rocky Marciano in the boxing back then? He's like talking about the boxing.
Wasn't he a white guy? Wasn't he playing a white guy?
Yeah.
In one of them? Yeah.
He was like a white guy and like the older black guy.
That's so cool, man.
Arsenio Hall played a guy with like the soul glow. He had like the Jerry curl. That being said, I want to talk about Ford versus Ferrari. Definitely one of my favorite films of the year.
So good.
Number 5 or 6 of my list this year. I'm seeing like 200 movies. So good, so phenomenal. I'm glad we got to see it on the big screen. The music, the score, cinematography is beautiful. The race scenes are so pristine and like beautifully shot. James Mangold, amazing director, solid movie. His last movie was Logan, so he had a few years to get this movie put out, but really great performances by Christian Bale, Matt Damon, Harold Shelby, and Ken Miles, and they're really great in this movie. Highly recommend it. One of my favorites of the year.
I really want to see this film. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to make it to the theater just because with the holiday coming up and my work schedule, I'm going to have to wait. But man, I would have loved to see that. Obviously, I'll catch it when it comes home. But I had some questions as far as the chemistry between Matt Damon and Christian Bale. How did they work together?
Oh man, it was just so good. They had a really great chemistry together. Like they feeded off one another. They had like a brother relationship where it was like love and hate, where they just start getting into a fist fight. There's a really great scene in the movie where they're fighting with groceries, like a a bag full of groceries and like pulls out a loaf of bread and like hits him over the head with it. Yeah, they're really good. Like, I was surprised how good they were together because the last podcast we were talking about, these two actors haven't worked together, but they were just really great. They had something special, and you could see the relationship grow throughout the movie with everything. They're coming across building this car and taking it to Le Mans. It's a 24-hour race. And it really grows throughout the movie. Really fantastic performances. Really great fight scene in the movie between the two. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, man. And the race scenes, I imagine, were pretty intense.
Oh, man, they're shot so well. It's not like other race movies where you kind of get lost, like what's happening. Yeah. Like when they zoom in, you could see everything going on. Like just the editing and everything, it just looked really good. It was really smooth.
Nice.
And you see Christian Bale fucking just driving like a badass. He's really good in this movie. He's like a really great driver, inside and out, and helps.
Is he like a Brit? Is he from England in the movie?
Yeah. So he basically just had his normal accent, like he's just talking normally.
Like I said, I wish I would have saw that opening weekend. If I have a chance,
your favorite
actor
and one of your favorite directors.
I know.
Big time. It'll be out.
I know. Maybe I will. I should. When I get a couple days off in a row, I'll have to go have a theater night. Just go check it out. Because like I said, I love those guys.
Yeah, when Uncle Logan recommends a movie that that I know you're gonna love.
Yeah. How many hair pieces did you give it? I didn't watch the review just because I didn't want to have any spoilers.
Any spoilers? Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, sorry.
4.5 out of 5 Christian Bale hair pieces. Easy there, Rod.
One of your favorites of the year, then, huh?
Yeah, it is. I was just talking to Molly about my favorite films of the year. I'm going to do a video at the end of the year, like I did last year, top 10 films of the year. So right now I got my top 6.
Awesome.
So we'll have a month away.
Yeah, I'll need to think about that. I'll try to do the same. Come up with my list.
Top 10
trying
of the year
think,
for like our last podcast of the year or something.
Yeah, dude, we should just do it. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. I need to go back and try to think of what I watched and make the list. I know it's my number one, but it might change, because The Irishman's coming up soon. So I'll wait till the end of the year.
And Star Wars too. So yeah, we'll see. We'll do that in future podcasts towards the end of the year. We'll do our top 10 of the year because we've seen a lot of great films, a lot of shitty ones as well, but it should be interesting to see what our list looking like and our recommendations. So we talked about Disney Plus Mandalorian. Show's been fantastic. The new episode premieres this Friday, basically every Friday, and I think they're doing 8 episodes, right? The first season?
Yes, I believe so. Yep, and season 2's underway. They're shooting it now.
Yep, so we probably don't have to wait long for that, but really great show. Looking forward to Friday, checking out the 3rd episode, the next adventure with the Mandalorian and young Baby Yoda. And definitely I'm going to be reviewing that on our YouTube channel. The first 2 reviews, the first 2 episodes are up on our channel as well. If you guys have not seen those, definitely check them out. A show I just binge watched, I just did a review of, is The End of the Fucking World 2, boys.
Oh, shit. I never watched part 1. Is it good?
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Yeah? Zombie apocalypse? Or?
No.
Oh.
It's 2 British teenagers. One's a psychopath and the other just hates the world. They end up meeting up because they're both like awkward and depressed, and they go on this road trip and they end up murdering somebody, and then they're on the run. It's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde tale, like a
wow, okay,
girl and a guy. They're young teenagers. They're on the run from the cops because they murder this guy, and that's what happens at the end of the season. And then season 2 picks up with the characters. I don't want to go into too much spoilers, but they end up meeting up again and coming across more people in their lives, and it just sets up a lot of great. Really great story, really great acting in the show as well. TV show you should definitely check out. I recommend it. Seasons 1 and 2 of The End of the Fucking World. It's on Netflix. Check it out. 8 episodes, and they're only 20 minutes long.
For some reason, I thought it had something to do with the apocalypse. I don't know. There's so many of those, on Netflix. I just figured it was something like that, like a coming-of-age story maybe in the apocalypse. I don't know how I got that. I must have been thinking of a different show.
Probably you're thinking of World War Z or something, Z for zombie.
Something. Yeah, there's a couple of shows on there. A show that actually I am still in the middle of binging. I actually have like a little bit, like 15 minutes left in the episode, and then the next episode I watch is the last one, is one of our favorite shows, one that always flies under the radar just because it's BBC, but one that always delivers, man. Peaky Blinders. The new season's really cool. It's engaging to start with. Again, like, you know, they set up the story. It's going into the 20s. Thomas Shelby, you know, he's really came into his own. He has a lot of influence from where he's at, and they have a lot of cash rolling in. But basically, at the start of this season, this newest season that's on Netflix, the stock market crashes back in America. So they have pretty much all their money tied up with the stock market there, and basically it goes bye-bye on one shitty day at the U.S. stock market. So Thomas Shelby has to, you know, like he always does, he always comes up with these great plans to make everything come together, to get his family together, to protect everybody. It's always fascinating. Like, Cillian Murphy crushes the role, Thomas Shelby, and then you got Arthur Shelby, you got his brother, another, I can't think of the actor's name, but he's fantastic in the role. He really owns the role of Arthur Shelby, his brother. He gets angry. It's like, damn, he's just fire. Awesome actor. He drinks a lot on the show. He really convinces you that he's like a fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this season, like I said, the stock market crashes. They lose their money. They have this other Irish gang that comes in, called the McGovern, or the Berry Boys, they call them. And basically they come in and they want a piece of the action that the Shelbys are controlling, and, you know, they start killing people close to the Shelbys, and so they have that to deal with. And then on the other side, they have a political aspect to deal with. New character in the show, played by Sam Claflin. I think he was in one of the Hunger Games movies. That's where I'd seen him before. But he's really solid. He's really solid in this role. He's like you really hate him. He plays a good villain. He's like a scumbag political guy. He's all like prim and proper looking, like his mustache is trimmed, his hair's always like perfectly slicked back. He's always got the great suits and everything. And like he puts on this persona of being this like great leader, but then you see him in his interactions with Thomas Shelby and you find out like he's the biggest scumbag there. He wants to bang Tommy Shelby's wife all the time on the show. He wants Tommy Shelby to work with him to put out this new political party, and he's trying to get everybody's support. He knows that Thomas Shelby has, you know, his people's support, obviously. So he's trying to get in with him and scheme, and it's just like Thomas Shelby and this guy going back and forth trying to outdo each other, and who's going to get the upper hand. Some people die. There's some big character deaths this season. Like I said, I have one more episode, but 6 episodes long for the season, and as always, it's a great show. Once you get into it, like, it took me a while to actually start it up, but like once you start it, you just want to binge it through, find out what happens. It's always a great arc over the season.
Yeah, the writer of Peaky Blinders, man, he's fucking good. He writes some good stories.
Stephen Knight, I know. Yeah, he's great.
I know.
Yeah.
Fantastic writer.
He's also, have you seen that preview for the Christmas Carol movie that's coming out?
Yeah,
he's involved with? That, right? Yeah, I believe so. Yep. So that's awesome. It's got Tom Hardy and Guy Pearce and Andy Serkis, I think.
Wow, I didn't know about Serkis, but I knew Guy Pearce is playing Ebenezer Scrooge. I just posted it this morning on our social media. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. And yeah, I knew it was the writer for Peaky Blinders, so you know it's going to go dark.
Oh, yeah. And Taboo. They also did Taboo with Tom Hardy. I think they're actually doing the second season. That'll be coming on sometime. But yeah, he just has that certain style, man. The way the show's filmed is always awesome. He's always got a great soundtrack in each episode. Yeah, it's just a really well done show. It's like got its own style, nothing else like it. Kind of it's carved its niche. You know, you got the shows, of course, The Sopranos. You have other shows having to deal with mobs, but this just like, you know, has its own style, the way he films it. Slow motion, like epic shots, a lot of explosions. England's always like dark and rainy, and yeah. That's
how I envision England, just like dark and rainy and muddy and shitty looking. Like just through the atmosphere. So it's really, really well done.
Everybody, the costume designers on that show, like everything is like really well done.
Yeah, it's all around good show. watched the first episode of the new season. I have to go back and restart it again because I already forgot what happened.
There's a fucking theme with you, mate. You start shows and you don't finish them.
I know. I need 28.
I know. You're more busy with movies anyway. TV's the only reason I'm able to catch up with TV is if I can like watch it on my phone while I'm doing something, at work or whatever.
I love TV shows, but I'm more of a movie guy.
Yeah.
I like watching movies.
Yeah.
Because like most of the time, I'm like, I don't have time to watch 8 fucking seasons of a show, 80 hours,
That's pretty
like
much all I
hours.
have time for. On my days off, I don't feel like going anywhere. I just want to crash in my house. So I have like 2-3 hours to kill. I'll usually try to watch the shows that I keep up on. But yeah, it makes sense. If I could go to the theater all the time like you and see like the brand new ones, I would too. We've
been watching Castle Rock. We have not watched the newest one. That just came out Wednesday, but a really great season. And Lizzie Kaplan's fantastic as Annie Wilkes.
Yeah, I remember when I was hyping her up a couple months back in the podcast. yeah, she's great. She really is. She kills it.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. She kills it. And she pushes her dad down the stairs and he fucking flies into the...
Jesus. Gets fucking...
That was crazy. Impaled by that.
I didn't see that coming. That was the best episode of the season, like showing her how she became the way she became and her... not really being the mother, but her sister. And like,
right.
It was really cool.
Yeah, big twist.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I like it better than last season, honestly. I like season 2. I think the story and the script seems a lot more cohesive.
Yeah, exactly. Cohesive. It fits together. Like, I just felt like the first season was, they're just like experimenting, trying to be like extra, I don't know. It just, some of the episodes were kind of out there and it kind of left you scratching your head like what's going on as far as the overall. And I never even finished that. I still have like 1 or 2 episodes. So yeah, I'd agree. Season 2 is a lot more engaging. Tim Robbins is in it. Yeah, it's just overall better done. The kids are all good.
Just everybody in the cast and the stories are kind of coming together and you actually know what's going on for the most part. Last season there's like 4 different going on and they never really resolved them. So I think they kind of fixed all the problems they had last year and kind of kept it with one main, character being Annie Wilkes and then having these other characters in Jerusalem's Lot showing up. And, just a lot better acting, too, I think. Just a lot better performances.
I
season 2. But, I really love this show. I've been watching it since it came out, so we have to watch the newest one from last night. And I'm going to do a review of the whole season whenever it's done. I'm not sure how many episodes are left, but I'll do a full, season recap.
We had the news yesterday. They were reporting that Joker 2 was being discussed and that contracts were being signed. But then today, director Todd Phillips came out and basically clarified and said, no, there's nothing. There's no contracts. There's been little conversations here or there, but he's like, no, I'm not going to. He's like, there's not going to be anything signed. There's nothing set in place. Don't believe what's being reported here.
Damn, and that sucks because I read it on a few news outlets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was widely reported. Yeah, and then I think later on in the day there was a report from Deadline basically saying, hey, this might have been premature. So yeah, I guess it ended up not to be true, but I mean, it's gonna happen. It's made over $1 billion. Todd Phillips, he'll probably, maybe he just needs some time. Obviously, he doesn't want to just do the movie. He wants to make sure the script's right, and he wants to make sure this is going to be a worthy follow-up. And how do you do it with a film like that, really? It's going to be tricky. They're going to have to, because, everybody's going to want them to, somehow go into the new Batman universe and all that, but they got to be smart about it. They don't want to do that. In my opinion, they shouldn't do that. They should keep it separate. But, come up with a story where he's in the, some years have passed since the events of the first film, and we see, him having deteriorated even further. So it's not happening yet, but have no fear. It's going to happen eventually. Initially, Marty Scorsese was attached to it, and he had to let the control go, but it had his blessing. And, Todd Phillips, you can tell just the way everything was filmed, he really cared for the film and made something close to his heart, and it wasn't just a comic book movie just to make money. So that's cool to hear a director be like, no, not necessarily. There's not going to be a sequel, unless we can come up with a story. Not going to rush and sign contracts and then we'll come up with a story eventually, and then we'll just worry about it then. You know, he's like, no, I'm going to write a good film first, and if it works, it works. If not, the first one was great, and let's leave it at that.
So if you guys haven't already, we have a website and social media pages. You can head on over to Cinephellas.com. We have the latest in movie news and reviews and TV news and reviews as well. Just posted a poster and trailer for The Death and Life of John F. Donovan starring Kit Harington that is hitting theaters on December 13th. Looks like a pretty solid indie flick. Our man, Kevin Muller, the great reviewer for Cinephellas out of New York, he just reviewed the film Parasite. He's calling it one of the best films of the year. I have not seen it, but I watched the trailer. It looks pretty awesome. It won the best foreign film, I think, at one of the film festivals. But we have a review of that movie on our website, so definitely check that out. They're putting out a Stephen King Funko, which is pretty badass. We love the Funko Pops. And they're going to have their...
That'd be a good one for the collection.
The horror master, the horror author himself, the man that's probably got hundreds of millions and millions of dollars. Stephen King is going to have his own Funko. One looks like just like normal looking. Another one has blood on him with the book in his hand, so it looks pretty sweet. I'll definitely be adding that to my collection. I think that comes out in a few months.
Heck yeah, I have old Steven up on the shelf. Why not add him? Yeah, it's been a while since I've got a Funko. Maybe I'll add that one to my collection too.
Yeah, for sure. You got to. I haven't bought any.
We should make a John Carpenter one too.
Yeah, John Carpenter would be a great one. They have a Tarantino one, a director one. They have Jason Blum. There's a few out there.
Nice. Pretty
cool. Might have to pick up. So one thing I wanted to bring up, we were thinking, I was talking to Niall, one of the writers for Cinephellas. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to all get together on a podcast and talk movies and TV and entertainment news all together. Get Henry, myself, Niall, and Kevin. We'll talk about that. We're thinking, how about doing like a little Q&A with the Cinephellas? So basically, the audience, what they can do, they can submit a question, like via email. They can email us at cinefellas@gmail.com, reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ask us a question, and then we'll all get together on the podcast and we can answer the questions and see how that goes. So what do you think about that, Henry?
Yeah, man, that's a good idea. Let our audience know a little bit more about us, our taste in movies and everything. Get to know each one of us because we're all different. Everybody's got their different little area as far as reviewing and interviewing, and everybody's, unique. And yeah, talking to Niall and Kevin, that'll be cool. And having them over on the podcast with us, it'll be more things to talk about, I'm sure. And yeah, questions. Send in your questions for us. We'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, I thought it would be a great idea because we're all obviously live in different states around the U.S. Niall's down in Florida, Kevin's on the East Coast, and we're in the Midwest in Illinois. It'd be cool, all of us talking, our backgrounds, personal information, and then just our taste in movies and TV shows, and just answer any questions that people have. I think it'd be a good time. And hopefully we get
Uncle Logan, do you think they'll ask you for your ASL?
13 transgender Florida. Age, sex, location. So hopefully people, submit some good questions and we can read them and answer them for the audience and do it on our next podcast, which will probably be in a few weeks because next week is Thanksgiving.
Me and Logan were around at the beginning of instant messaging, back when people would ask that. Age, sex, location, on all that chat room.
AOL. AOL Instant Messenger. What's up, 1996?
The Limp Bizkit blaring in the background. You got Al Gore on TV talking about how he invented the internet. Times were much simpler back then, or so they seemed. I think it was probably just because we were young. I'm sure times were still turbulent back then with all the bullshit with Clinton and all that. Fucking drama.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we didn't pay bills when we were kids and stuff like that, so we didn't really care. Smooth sailing as it, people think it was.
No.
Great time for music and movies and stuff like that, pop culture. It was a great time to be alive.
You did it all for the nookie back then. Yeah, man,
but other movies coming out in the near future. Knives Out is coming out next week. Ryan Johnson's new mystery suspense film. starring a bunch of people: Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans. Who else is in it? Michael Shannon.
Daniel Craig.
What? It's Daniel Craig. He's supposed to be great.
Yep.
Supposed to be great in that movie. A bunch of people are in that. So that's going to be on the list to see next week. And then we have Star Wars coming out next month. So a lot of big films hitting the theaters. Lots of great stuff to talk about.
I've never heard of that one. What's Star Wars?
I don't know. It's about a bunch of geeks up in the space.
The final film in the Skywalker saga. They're going to have a lot of loose ends to tie up.
Yes, they will. I'm a little worried about it, but hopefully I will be pleased once I leave the theater. Hopefully it's a good send-off to that.
Once your mate Oscar Isaac shows up on screen, all will be well.
I'll give you all you boys the freshest of fruits here in the galaxy. Far, far
It's
away.
not Mark Consuelo.
Love Uncle Andy.
Muccieri. He just appears for no reason. He just cameos in the podcast.
I'm here looking for a Wookiee. I heard they're very beautiful in Argentina.
I heard they did it all for the Wookiee. All right, so that wraps up episode 53 of the Cinephellas Podcast. Uncle Logan, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you for bringing me on the Cinephellas Podcast. This is Uncle Andy. And Logan.
Oh, Uncle Andy's there.
It's been a great time talking with you boys today, and look forward to the next one with a little Q&A. Can't wait to see you boys then. Love you, boys.
That's right, boys. And don't forget to stop out at Big Ray's. Get your oil changed while you're eating a big old slab of ribs. That's sponsored by Big Ray's. Damn, that's some good barbecue.
This podcast has been sponsored by Big Ray's Automotive and Barbecue Emporium. There for all your meat, sweats, and needs.
Love you, boys.